Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Best in Slot, and tonight we're going to take a look at the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom trailer. We're going to go through, pick out the most important shots, speculate a little bit about what's going on, all that kind of jazz. If you haven't seen it already, you should obviously not watch this video. It's going to be full of spoilers and speculation. I have uploaded the full trailer right here on the channel. I'll link that down below, so go watch that before you watch this, and then come back and together, between all of us, we can sort of talk through this trailer. Please do let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, any opinions, any other theories of your own, and we can talk about it until the film comes out in like 8 months or whatever it is. So the film opens up on this bar, which I'm sure Budweiser paid a bloody fortune for, and Claire and Owen are chilling around. And Claire's obviously arranged this meeting, and Owen's kind of taking it jokingly. I think he's a little bit hurt. You know, at the end of the first film, we saw these two sort of get together, but as we found out from Entertainment Weekly and now this trailer, they're no longer a couple, and he's making little snide jokes about who she's dating, clearly thinking she broke up with him because, you know, he's a very jokey, kind of immature kind of guy. He's Chris Pratt, basically. That might hit a bit close to home for him at the moment. Anyways, so they're talking about this, and he's trying to convince him to come back to the island because obviously there's this volcanic eruption. We know that's been the central premise, at least for the first half of the film. We've known that for a while now. It has kind of shades to me of Jurassic Park 3 already. You know, they're in a bar, sort of restaurant kind of place, just like in Jurassic Park 3. And you've got the gruff, white, middle-aged man who's resistant to going back to the Isla Nublar for fairly obvious reasons. Although they wanted him to go to Isla Sorna in Jurassic Park 3. And she's got to kind of come up with realistic reasons for why she should go. And eventually she mentions, well, Blue is still alive, and that is your reason. Now, how she knows Blue's still alive, I don't know, but we saw Blue vanish at the end of the first film. I suppose it's a decent enough assumption. Anyways, moving on. So then we get our first shot of what is now a fully abandoned Jurassic World. Obviously, it's gone to hell since the first film. There's actually a little aeroplane up here. I've only just... You know what we need, guys? We need my big red pen, don't we? I've kind of forgotten to do that. We have a tradition now. We get a big old red brush, and I can use it to very professionally highlight things. Look at that. Beautiful. But yeah, you can see the destroyed monorail here in the bottom right. The Jurassic World sign's kind of fallen to pieces. It's kind of very much... It's interesting because this is kind of how the first Jurassic Park seemed in Jurassic World. You know, in Jurassic World, they go back to the old visitor centre, and we know there's going to be the old explorer and stuff like that. And now Jurassic World is in the same sort of situation as Jurassic Park itself. There's now 2 ruined theme parks on the very same island, which is interesting. And they're talking about how everything started to die on the island, and we get this, what may be the first time in film Jurassic Park history that I can think of, a proper full-on decaying skeletal corpse of what I imagine is meant to be an Ankylosaurus. I don't know if there's that many other Ankylosaurids in the film. It kind of looks like an Ankylosaurid. It's very spiky, I've got to say. But clearly this is quite a big operation. There's at least 2 sort of big vans worth. Later on we're going to see a screenshot with many people in it, and that's as they leave the island. So clearly this is a large operation. It's not going to be... It's kind of like Jurassic Park 2 in a little way. You know, all these people go to the island with a goal. With a goal of getting dinosaurs off the island, although in very different ways this time. I never actually got that connection until just now. That is actually very Lost Worldy, isn't it? Even the vehicles have that kind of, you know, that utilitarian military kind of look to them. Anyways, then we get another shot of the volcano. We're not going to talk about that because we've already kind of gone into that. She's trying to convince him to come over because, you know, he's saying as this volcano shot goes on that, yeah, I know that's not why. It's because there's a volcano. We need to get the animals off the island. And she's like, oh, yeah, man, Blue's there as well. You love Blue. Blue's your bae. So come over. We don't need to talk. We've seen all this before. And then we move on to our next new shot, which is leading up to my second favourite shot in the entire trailer, the next one. But I think this is meant to be Main Street of Jurassic World. This is where all these sort of the trucks are rolling in and stuff like that. We can see all these Jurassic Park toys and stuff. In case you hadn't realised, this one over here, folks, in the trailer, that isn't a toy. That is a Procompsognathus bouncing around, being all spooky, as they all want to do. Anyways, the second best shot in the trailer. Bam, that one. Ah, breaks my heart, it really does. Brachiosaurus has been absolutely neglected since the first Jurassic Park. And in that first Jurassic Park film, for a lot of us, it was... Not only is it the first dinosaur you see, it's not the first one in the books, but in the film it's the first dinosaur you see. And the sheer majesty and size and drama of the creature really helped enamor us to the film. It really made you fall in love with Jurassic Park. I know that scene was the point where I thought, yep, this is going to be my favourite film of all time. I just knew upon seeing that film. upon seeing that scene, I should say. And then Brachiosaurus kind of got neglected for a little bit, so I'm really glad it's back. I know we had a Apatosaurus, but a Apatosaurus doesn't hold a candle to Brachiosaurus, folks. Brachiosaurus is a classic. So we can see some people here. We've got Owen's there, Claire's there. New kid, I don't know what she's called. She's an Asian kid. There's a couple of people here who, that's played by Justin Smith. I think his name is Franklin. I get the feeling like there's a couple of maybe interns, maybe Claire's working at university, maybe, I don't know why there's sort of younger people there, although I've got to say, the kid, there is a kid in the film, the kid doesn't seem to be that prominently featured, which is really exciting for me personally. But we can see the Ruined Innovation Centre, obviously this is Main Street, and then the Brachiosaurus stomping across. Awesome shot. This dude here looks immensely to me like the ginger dude, Abraham, from The Walking Dead. I don't know if it is, I don't think it is, but whatever. It's interesting that, but they've really brought the heavy weaponry. They're very much on a rescue mission, but they know, given the environment, given the drama going on, this big volcanic explosion, they know they're going to need protection. And based on some later screenshots, that is definitely the case. Then we cut back to Ian Malcolm, the glorious Jeff Goldblum, in what I believe is going to be one of the closing scenes of the film. That's what we heard, that the film will actually end in the courtroom. So all this is going on throughout the film, and then Goldblum's going to testify against, I imagine, the theme park kind of aspect of this. He's saying that these dinosaurs need to be preserved and kept safe and not destroyed, but also probably not, held for entertainment. I think basically the advocacy for him and for the majority of film, the moral message they're going for is put these dinosaurs in a safe location away from everyone else. A wildlife reserve, that's what they need. They need a reserve where they're just left to do their thing. Kept onto an island, they're not going to murder anyone, they're not going to eat anyone. Stop letting rich people who sell paint and tiles plus fly onto your islands. Just keep them away from absolutely everyone. And that's obviously what Jeff Goldblum / Ian Malcolm will be advocating for in the film. He doesn't believe the dinosaurs should be died. They have rights. They do. Next, we see the Rex again. We've already seen the Rex before. It's a gorgeous animatronic, I've got to say. And then we get another look at Stegosaurus. I think this is the first time, but the interesting about this is actually the next shot, which is this one. So we can see here, this is them clearly leaving the island. I get the impression we're at the back of a big sort of transport boat, and that's the back sort of door where you drive all your cars onto, and that's the island. In the distance, it's a little bit of a shame. This looks like Isla Nublar may be absolutely screwed, and that would be quite upsetting, wouldn't it, if we just lost Isla Nublar? Hopefully there's a way to redeem it down the line. Maybe it can become a reserve. Now the volcano's kind of done its thing, maybe in the future it would be a more safe place to store the dinosaurs, but we'll have to see. I think they would be wise to that. But this is interesting just because the sheer number, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can count at least 8, 9 people there. Now that's actually more than was in the last scene. I imagine some of the soldiers, you have to have soldier guys there. It's like Jurassic Park 3, it's like Jurassic Park 2. One of the problems Jurassic Park 1 had was that you couldn't really kill many people because you didn't really have expendable people per se. You lost Gennaro, and that was about it, from like majority of the film. In the book, they kill off a lot more people, but in the film, they wanted to keep them alive. Lost World didn't really have that problem per se. Lost World killed off lots of people. I'm hoping that we kind of have the same thing with Fallen Kingdom. That's why you have these sort of nameless soldier dudes, because you want to fear these dinosaurs. They need to seem terrifying, and the way to make them seem terrifying is for them to rip some people to shreds. I think that's what we all want, folks. Next up, we get another scene of the Baryonyx. They're talking. Ian Malcolm says something along the lines of that these dinosaurs could outlast us, basically. They were here first in the world, and they may be here after us. And obviously that then cuts to the ferocity of this Baryonyx. And I've got to say, okay, I'm not convinced it looks like a Baryonyx, but it is a terrifying creature when you see it in action in the trailer. It looks really, really good. I really like what they've done with it. I don't watch Jurassic Park for accuracy at the end of the day. I know you guys at home don't either. We're here for dramatic dinosaurs and action scenes, and we're here for cool dinosaurs. Look, that's the way it is. And yeah, the Baryonyx looks fantastic. Why there's fire sort of erupting from every orifice of this building is beyond me. But Owen isn't here in this scene. He's off somewhere else. So this must be... What I'm thinking is there's a scene... We'll see the scene in a minute, so we'll talk about it then. Boop. So, now they're running away from something. This must be towards the end. Probably running towards the boat to get off the island, if I had to guess. God knows why these barrels are exploding. No realistic explanation for that in my head, so we're going to leave that alone. And then Owen gets to meet Blue. So I'm imagining Owen is meeting Blue whilst Justice Franklin and Claire are off meeting, inverted commas, meeting the Baryonyx. That's probably taking place at the same time. It would be a little weird if Blue and Owen met up at the same time as, you know, the other two were there. It kind of needs its own thing. Owen really has gone back to the island in order to meet with Blue. And I suspect she's going to play a big part in the film. She isn't actually in the trailer much except this and the little scene as the baby. Interestingly enough, from what I can tell, the Indoraptor is not actually in this trailer at all. It was in the teaser trailer, but it isn't in this trailer at all. There's actually a lot of scenes in the teaser trailer that didn't make it into the proper trailer. I feel like either she or Rexy is going to die taking down said Indoraptor. It just seems to be a very Jurassic Park thing to do. Where would Blue go? Or we'll end up in a situation where, let's say Blue's getting rescued, all the dinosaurs are getting rescued, but the problem is you're taking them back to the mainland, people are going to want to take control of them, people are going to want to see them, people are going to want to sell them. Maybe the film sort of climaxes as Ian Malcolm is talking about how these dinosaurs should be set free. I know I'm completely spitballing here, but just roll with it. Ian Malcolm's talking about that, how the dinosaurs need their own reserve. I can see Claire and Owen driving off with Blue in the back of a truck, finding her a nice reserve somewhere and letting her loose to live out the rest of her days. Because at this point, she's probably not going to be breeding or anything like that. She's probably just going to die of old age. You just let her off into the hills somewhere, let her do her thing, like Scotland. Scotland has been thinking about bringing back wolves. Why not bring back raptors instead? Same thing. Right. And then we get the big stampede scene that we've already seen before several times. Volcanoes going off, it's all going crazy. If I had to guess, I'd put this at maybe like the halfway point in the film, maybe the big first climactic event. Volcanoes going off, all the dinosaurs are charging out of the undergrowth, and Claire, Franklin, who seems to be a fairly major character, along with the other two, and Owen are hiding behind this gyrosphere as this log gets torn to shreds. Then we get a bunch of new stuff, and this, folks, is the most exciting part of the trailer for me. The next sort of 5 or 6 pages. So we get our first proper look at the Carnotaurus in action. Looks incredible. Some people speculated it was a Carnoraptor. I always thought it was a Carnotaurus. I don't think it looks like the Carnoraptor. People were suggesting that because of the size of it, it maybe was only Carnoraptor, but at the end of the day, they use those models for referencing and stuff like that. It didn't necessarily have to be the full size. It's clearly a Carnotaurus, right? And it looks really cool. So that pokes its head around the side of the gyrosphere. And then I couldn't really get a good screenshot of this, so we're just going to jump to it. Jump to literally my favourite shot in the whole thing. Wait, no, next one. Look at that. That is gorgeous. There's something about that shot. That kind of colour grading does a lot for me. That kind of muted blue-green kind of palette with bursts of orange behind. And that is Rexy. You can see right here. God, right page. You can see right there, we've got 3 claw marks across her neck, which obviously have been there for a long time. I don't think Rexy's going to... Well, we know Rexy makes it off the island. I don't see how Rexy survives this film, personally. But anyways, at this point, Rexy destroys the Carnotaurus. It's amazing. Claire and Franklin are sitting in the gyrosphere over here on the right-hand side. And Owen's all, you know, spooked because there's a T-Rex in front of his face. Maybe she recognises him. It's like, hey, Owen, buddy boy. Woo! But anyways, all these dinosaurs are still running away from this volcanic eruption. You know, there's ash, there's lava, there's... going on, so they're all running and running and running, but they've got to run somewhere, and the trailer kind of goes in a completely different direction than the teaser trailers ever showed. So the gyrosphere is rolling down the hill. We've got an Ankylosaurus over here, a Pteranodon, we've got what I think is an Apatosaurus here, you can just about see a Triceratops over here on the right hand side, and then this little dude popes up. Popes up? That's not a word. Well, I mean pope. To pope up. How would one pope up? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, they're rolling down in the gyrosphere and suddenly this dinosaur popes up from the right hand side. I am not convinced I know what this is. I'm just going to bring this up for a sec. That to me is not the same dinosaur, right? That's definitely not the same dinosaur. The snout is completely different. Everything is completely different. So that is something else. Now, it doesn't even look like the Indoraptor. The suggestion has been that it's a Suchomimus. It doesn't look like a Suchomimus either. I think it's pretty impossible to know officially what that dinosaur is, just because Jurassic Park dinosaurs don't look like Jurassic Park dinosaurs. But it has long been suggested Suchomimus will be in the film, And if I had to wager a guess right now as to what that is, I would go with Suchomimus, but who knows for sure. Anyways, oh no, next one. Love that shot, big dramatic shot. It turns out that at the end of this field, where all the dinosaurs are fleeing, there's an edge of a cliff. We can see some stegosaurs, apatosaurs, gallimimuses, triceratops. Anything else there? Any new? We've got Brachiosaurus and an apatosaurus. Pterosaurs in the sky. Nothing particularly unique other than them. These are very stock, general Jurassic Park dinosaurs, generally speaking. Owen's running away, big and spooky. Gyrosphere's running away, big and spooky, and then the closing shot is as the gyrosphere and all the dinosaurs plummet into the ocean around the island. Now, that is where it cuts out. However, there's long been a rumour that there's going to be a scene in the film with the Mosasaurus, and the scene with potentially a submarine fighting says Mosasaurus. So what I'm visioning, God, I sound like a dick. As this scene goes on, right, all these dinosaurs are falling in. These two are in the gyrosphere, say, trying to get out. Maybe, you're looking out the front of the gyrosphere, you see an Ankylosaurus, you see a Apatosaurus sort of flailing in the water before you, and then suddenly, it disappears as the Mosasaurus swings by and, near enough swallows the poor bugger whole, and then disappears into the darkness at the other side. This is a buffet falling from the sky for a creature like the Mosasaurus, who will assumedly have found a way over time to break out of its Jurassic World exhibit, and has now started to just enjoy and hunt around the island itself, as a Mosasaurus typically would. And that's about it. That is all the shots in the trailer that I picked out, folks. Did skip a lot of the volcano stuff just because we've seen it all before. I'd like to offer more in the way of theories, but a lot of these sort of more interesting character moments, I'd say, have been left behind. Like that whole scene with the museum and the ceratopsid skull with the little girl and the professor guy. Name completely escapes me right now. None of that was included in the trailer. None of the Toby Jones stuff was included in the trailer. It's very interesting that half the teaser trailer was not in the actual trailer. The only bit that really made it across was this whole volcano scene and the bit with the Rex getting transported off. So we know Rexy makes it alive off the island. What happens to her after that? I'm not so sure. Again, I've speculated for a long time now that Rexy is going to die at some point in this film. She's been knocking around for 5 films now. It might be time to put her to rest a little bit. At the end of the day, she's going to die of old age relatively soon. She is, I don't know how old now, like 27 since the first film. We know it's maybe not a linear timeline, but T-Rex has only lived to be about 30 years old, guys. By most definitions, Rexy is an OAP. She's an OAD. She's an old age dinosaur. I'm just going to go back to this shot because, oh my god. That is one of my favourite shots of any trailer ever. A lot of this reminds me of King Kong, the newer one, a little bit, just in terms of colour and sort of style. Now, I did not like the new King Kong at all. I was very disappointed in it, so hopefully the actual film isn't, that's not necessarily how it's going to be. It's just kind of what I picked up on. I'm very excited though, and we've kind of seen all this big bombastic stuff, and that's kind of what you'd expect, right? Because at the end of the day, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, these are action films. But for me, the best parts of these films has always been the slower, quieter moments, the scarier moments. It seems like, when they're in this kind of tunnel being hunted by a terrifying Baryonyx. Now, one of the reasons I was personally very excited for J.A. Bayona to be directing this film is because, classically, he is a horror director. He's done some fantastic, Spanish language in particular, horror films. So I really like the idea of that more intimate, darker kind of style being brought to the film. Now, I understand why that isn't in the trailer, and I'm very excited to hopefully get some glimpses of that over the next, coming 6 months or so. Although if they want to leave it all for the thingy, maybe that's what the Indoraptor is all about. Maybe the Indoraptor is going to be that stalker in the shadows kind of dinosaur in the film, kind of like the Troodons in the Jurassic Park game. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for some sneaky dinosaurs. Right, it is 2:30 in the morning because I stayed up to record this bloody thing. I'm going to go to bed. Hope you guys loved the trailer just as much as I did. I think, honestly, it's one of the best trailers they've had for the series. The film has the potential, based on what I've seen, personally, to be not as good as the first film, but to be the best film since the first film. Now, some people will say that's not saying much. Personally, I really like The Lost World. I think it's a very good film. In some ways better than the first film, in some ways whatever. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I'll talk to you guys about it as well. What are you most excited for in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and what dinosaurs are you excited for that we haven't seen yet in the trailer? We know there's at least a Stygimoloch in the film and we haven't seen it today, so who knows what other dinosaurs could be out there. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. If you do want more Fallen Kingdom content, Jurassic Park Evolution content, speculation videos, and gameplay focused on dinosaurs, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that like button if you've enjoyed this little chat of the last 20 minutes. It is basically just me rambling, I get that, but hey, if you've had a good time, please do hit that like button. It really helps me out. I know you guys hate YouTubers saying this because you don't think it's a big deal. I can only tell you it's a massive deal. Thank you for joining me. Cheers, much love, as always. Bye-bye. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider smashing that like button down below. It really helps me out. And also hitting the subscribe button if you want to be kept up to date with brand new videos about dinosaurs, animals, aliens, and everything else we do here on the Best of Slot channel. All of you who have subscribed so far, that's awesome. Make sure you hit that little bell icon. I'll highlight now, otherwise you may actually miss out on the content anyway because YouTube is silly. Thank you guys so much. Much love.